If you've ever unfollowed someone over a pasta recipe, yeah, been there. Today we're talking about the ground we don't share and why it might actually be the most important part. What's up, my EFF? Let me tell you how it is. You've just stumbled upon God Jots, a series about the nature of love, compassion, joy, and the real-life connection between human beings. I'm Ender Bowen, Nashville, Tennessee rock pop artist, author, husband, father, complete dork, and aspiring compassionist. Sit back, relax, and be prepared to laugh, cry, maybe even come face to face with the flying spaghetti monster for some reason. I don't know if you've noticed this, but we live in a very divisive and tribal society as of late. It seems like one little difference of opinion or behavior is enough to get people chucking lightning bolts at each other. Sometimes I think people are getting up in the morning just to look for that. They wake up, doom scroll through social media, and wait for the next thing to ignite. And boom! They're off to the races. The arguments, the finger-pointing, the "you're wrong, I'm right" battle royale. And I'm just referring to pasta recipes right now. I haven't even gotten to the political nonsense. I talk a lot about how we should always be looking for similarities in each other, the things that connect us despite what appear to be surface differences. But here's the thing I've rarely touched on. It's just as important to respect and even celebrate the differences. Because those differences are not problems to be solved. They're part of the beautiful tapestry of humanity that we all share. They make us who we are, and they give us so much to learn from each other if we allow them to. It's the unique ways in which each of us experiences the world and the diverse stories we carry with us that make the fabric of life richer. We all tend to focus on the similarities because they're easier. We're all human. We all have needs. We all get hurt. We all want to be loved. But when we start to look for what makes us different, without judgment but instead with curiosity, those differences stop being divisions. They become a beautiful source of celebration. What if we started each day not just looking for common ground, but also appreciating the ground we don't share? I'm not saying it's always easy, but I think that's where the real beauty lies. I'm going to start with something that, well, might be a little controversial for a blog called God Jots, but we're here to talk real, right? So let's talk about how we worship. There are so many different ways that people approach God, and dare I say it, sometimes those differences make us feel a little uncomfortable, even threatened. Take a look at the vast landscape of Christian denominations. And anyone want to talk about how denom is an anagram for demon? No? All right. It's a little odd to me how something that's meant to bring us together can also, unintentionally, pull us apart. I'll give you an example. I'm Episcopalian. You know, all of the pageantry, but none of the guilt. My church doesn't close its eyes, raise its hands, and sway to contemporary Christian music like the folks at the Church of What's Happening Now. But so what? On the flip side, those folks don't come to church and fall asleep during a 90-minute service. Again, so what? We're all worshiping the same guy. We're all having a relationship with the same Lord. But the way we experience that relationship is very different. But why should that difference be a problem? What if it's actually part of the design? I would argue that there's a reason different religions and denominations exist. Whether it's Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, or the flying spaghetti monster. Okay, maybe not that last one, but hey, it's still a conversation starter. We're all leaning towards the same creator, just in different languages, imagery, and behaviors. This is not just a Christian thing. Look at the way other religions express themselves. We can learn so much from each other if we stop seeing these differences as a threat. Instead of getting hung up on the "I'm right and you're wrong" mentality, maybe we can start to appreciate that each of these paths is a person's way of finding their way home to God. And isn't that a beautiful thing? I am so excited to tell you about my very first God Jots book, Forgiveness and Healing: How to Seek, Offer, and Understand the Power of Forgiveness. What is forgiveness? What is the power of forgiveness? And how can you use it to set yourself free from the chains of that bondage? Learn how to forgive, learn how to apologize, and read real stories from real people that'll help you get through it. Plus, hey, on top of that, a whole lot of my weirdness, I suppose. So if you're willing to take a chance on that, check it out. It's available now, including signed copies, at forgivenessbook.godjots.com. Go check it out. When I think about how I came to know God and how I continue to grow in my relationship with Him, I reflect on the many ways God reached out to me before I even knew it was happening. I didn't grow up in church. In fact, church really wasn't my thing at all. It was boring. It felt judgy. The songs didn't connect to me, and honestly, I just wasn't feeling it. But you know where I did feel God's presence? Music. Deep, analytical thought. Entertainment. God spoke to me through the things that I loved, the things that made sense to me. He didn't try to mold me into someone else's idea of how to experience Him. He met me where I was, in the language I understood. And in doing so, He created a space where I could talk to Him. Because He knew me. He knew my heart. And because He knew me, He knew how to speak to me. I think that's why different religions and denominations exist. God is trying to find as many ways as possible to get to know us, to know you. He's pursuing you, and He'll use whatever language, imagery, or tradition works to grab your heart. For me, it wasn't in a cathedral or a prayer circle. It was in the rhythm of a song or the words of a book that made me stop and think. For someone else, it might be in a vibrant worship service or a quiet time of reflection, or a delicious Italian pasta gracefully weaving its way through the sky. The point is, God knows how to get our attention. He knows who we are, and He knows what we need to hear. We are each created differently, and that's not a mistake. The beauty of the divine comes through in all of our differences. Shouldn't we strive to learn from that? Shouldn't we extend that same kind of respect and curiosity toward one another? If God can find all kinds of ways to reach us, shouldn't we, as human beings, be equally curious about the ways in which others are experiencing the world? Shouldn't we seek to understand how different people see and interpret their faith, their life, and their journeys? What I'm trying to say is that we should celebrate our differences because there's something magical and beautiful in the way our unique experiences and stories express themselves. And that's not just true in the realm of religion, but in everything. Each of us carries with us a unique story, a different perspective, and a set of experiences that make us who we are. Even if you don't worship God, I genuinely believe that your journey, your story, is a beautiful thing. If only we were compassionately curious with one another, we'd find a way to respect and celebrate those differences. Our differences are not things to be feared, they're treasures to be discovered. Every single person we meet has something that makes them unique, something worth learning from, something worth celebrating. Think about the fall when the leaves change color. When you stand in the middle of a forest, it's not the uniformity that takes your breath away, is it? No, it's the way the colors mix. Red, orange, yellow, brown, gold. The variety is what makes that scene so stunning. Imagine if the entire forest was only one color. It wouldn't be nearly as beautiful. It's the mix, the diversity, the differences that make it breathtaking. And I wonder if God looks at us the same way. What if He stands back and sees us, our humanity, our differences, and admires the beauty of it all? What if He is in awe of the variety, the creativity, the uniqueness of each individual person? What if He celebrates our differences as much as we do the changing colors of the autumn leaves? If God can do that, maybe we should too. What if we started celebrating each other's differences in the same way? What if we looked at the people around us, not as other, but as pieces of a greater whole, each one contributing something beautiful to the whole picture? There's something powerful in that kind of respect. And there's something magical in the way that when we celebrate our differences, we become more than we ever could be alone. So here's my challenge to you. Look at the people around you, whether in church, in your family, or on the street. Don't just look for what connects you. Look for what's different and celebrate it. Appreciate it. That's where the beauty is. And if we can start doing that, I think we'll begin to see the world and each other in a whole new light. All right, now it's your turn. What do you think of this idea of celebrating difference? What are the positives and the negatives? Does it open up a different way you might look at the world and the people in it? Do you surround yourself with people who are at least a little different? Or is that uncomfortable? What value might you see in people who are different from you? If you like this episode and want to be notified when new ones are uploaded, make sure you don't leave without hitting that subscribe button. Or subscribe to God Jots on your favorite podcast streaming service. You can also check out more God Jots, as well as subscribe to the Monday Joy Bomb newsletter for ebooks, updates, and exclusive content at godjots.com. Until next time, be honest with yourself. Be truthful with others. Give people the opportunity to surprise you. And remember that it's impossible to have absolutely nothing in common with another human being. Be a little light in the world. I'm sure I'll see you soon.